Hello, and welcome to the Spotlight Podcast. This is Coach Anthony Williams. I want to thank our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings, for allowing us to have this platform to showcase student athletes here in the state of Texas and beyond. Tonight, we have another special guest from one of the sponsor schools that Buffalo Wild Wings is sponsoring, New Caney High School, and we'll bring him on here in a second. For those of you that aren't familiar with the podcast, we are all about showcasing student athletes, not only as athletes, but as students and who they are as people away from their sport. I'm looking forward to hearing this young man's story. He's a talented young man on a team that's still fighting to get in the playoffs this year. I want to introduce you to DeAndre Frazier. He is an athlete at New Caney High School, but I'll let him tell you more about himself here as we roll into this podcast. So DeAndre, first, thank you for coming on and being part of the podcast. First, start us out. Tell us your full name, your school, your grad year, and what position you play.
My name is DeAndre Frazier, class of 2026. I'm an athlete, and I go to New Caney High School.
All right. We were just talking about games coming up this week. You guys are still fighting for a spot in the playoffs, but it all focuses on getting that first win. Tell us about your opponent this week.
We play against Cleveland High School. They're a good team, very disciplined. We just got to come out strong in the first half. We haven't been doing that a lot, so I feel like that's what we really need to focus on this week.
Okay. And for you coaches out there that don't know DeAndre, you'll definitely want to go check out his huddle video. But I really want to take this time in this podcast for you to get to know him personally. So let's start in with that. DeAndre, tell us about social media. How does social media impact your journey as a student athlete?
Social media impacts because it's like it gives you the opportunity to show your achievements, like share your achievements and get compliments about your achievements on the internet.
Yeah, makes sense. How do you balance, the life of a student athlete? You got your school, you got practice, you got film study, you got position meetings. How do you balance your getting your academics done along with your athletic activities, along with your personal life? How do you handle that?
I feel like I have to set that up like in a different a time period. So once a day, I'll be so focused on schoolwork. Then when it's time for football, it's time for football. Time for film, go to film, get all that done. I feel like I have it set up in different time areas of the day.
I'm sure as a student athlete, you don't have a lot of free time, especially during the season. But when you have some free time, what do you like to do? What do you like to do to kind of burn off some pressure and stress?
Really just chill, watch college football, watch highlights, and that's really it. Just chill, like to chill on my free.
DeAndre, I assume you love playing in front of a big crowd. Every athlete loves doing that. Friday nights, Thursday nights, playing in front of a big crowd. Tell us, how do you give back to your community? What are you doing with your teammates, or with your school? What are you doing to give back to that next generation of student athletes?
We will go to our local elementary school, help out like the second graders read a book, and we'll probably go to another elementary school and help serve lunch. Or that's about really it. Elementary schools.
Well, in your class of 26, so you're still considered underclassmen, but I'm sure there's a lot of young players, either in 8th grade or in some of the feeder schools, or even freshmen, that look up and say, hey, I want to be playing varsity as a sophomore like DeAndre. What are you doing to help that next generation, those kids behind you who will be stars in a couple of years when you're gone?
Really, when it's time to give them a coaching point at practice, as a point of view, I coach them up, tell them what needs to be fixed or whatever. But I think it's a really good opportunity to have a younger athlete look up to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that response. As you know, Buffalo Wild Wings is a sponsor of this podcast. I don't know if you've been there, but they've got a whole bunch of sauces for their wings, hot barbecue and blazing knockout. I know you saw the list. I sent it to you. Which Buffalo Wild Wing sauce best describes your play as a football player?
I'll say blazing habanero, or what is blazing hot? Because I feel like on defense, got to blaze to the ball.
Right. I like it. Okay. Yeah. Tell me, how do you balance? So, as you know, football is the ultimate team sport, but every football player has individual goals also. How do you balance the importance of your team goals while also meeting your individual goals as a player?
I feel like individual goals, that's something that I can do myself. So when I have my free time, watch film, see what I need to work on, and then when it's a good time, go outside, get some footwork in, focus on what I need to focus on. And for the team goal, that's when we're all in the film room. We're at practice, working together, trying to figure out our game plan.
I like it. Okay, very smart. Tell me a little bit about, the other thing I love as a former player and coach, obviously, about playing football is my teammates. Getting to know people really personally, kicking and scratching and fight with them every weekend with guys from different backgrounds, different races, different religions, different cultures. Tell us how being on a football team has helped you get to know some of your players that have a different background than you.
I feel like that's a good thing to interact with players that I really don't know like that. It's good to meet new people because you never know. One of my teammates can probably teach me something about my position that can really help me out.
Tell me, you've been playing football for a while, I assume. What's your most memorable or exciting moment or play you remember when you think back and go, yeah, I did that?
I feel like I think like Little League, that would made me like really want to play football. That really made me enjoy it. Had a game against like a rivalry Little League team or whatever, and first play out of the gate, I scored like a 78-yard touchdown. So and it got everybody hyped. I set the tone, and then like it was just from there. That would make me really love football.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Tell me a little bit about, who do you compare yourself to, your DB, either at the college level or pro level? Who do you compare yourself to and look up to as a DB?
I'll say like the honey badger, the like how physical he is. I feel like for my height, for my size, I think I'm pretty physical, and I feel like he was an underdog at one point. People would doubt him, and that's really how I am. So when you get on that field, you got to show everybody what you got.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I watched your huddle video, you're definitely not afraid of contact. You're not a big guy, but I love how you like to stick your shoulder in there and make a big play and jog the football loose. So once again, college coaches that are still looking for a class 26 DB definitely want to go check out DeAndre's huddle video. So definitely do that. Um, every player DeAndre gets ready for a game differently. Pre-game, some guys like to get hyped, some guys like to be in the corner, kind of quiet, going through the game plan. Which type are you? How do you get ready for games every Friday night and pre-game?
I feel like I'm one of those hype players. Yeah, yeah. Listen to music, get hype.
Is there ever a time where you're like, hey, I need to chill and think about my assignments? I'm playing a big time receiver or a good quarterback. Do you ever kind of go back and forth?
Yes, sir. I'll listen, get hype. Then when it's time to settle down, it's about to go out to the field. I watch a little bit more film, and then that's when my focus face is like on, so I'm ready.
How important is film to you as a DB?
I feel like film, especially for a DB, is very important to see who your wide receiver matchup will be against, see how they run their routes, how they break out their routes, what routes that they usually run. So I feel like that film is very important for especially a DB.
You talked about this a little earlier when you brought up your favorite moment as a football player back in youth ball. Kind of take it to another level. What do you enjoy most about playing football?
The atmosphere. Love how Friday nights the crowd be packed out, everybody's watching, jumbo screen, make a good play, you get called out. I like that. I like getting noticed.
Now, the follow-up question is, how do you manage the highs and lows? As a DB, and I'm the father of a NFL DB. Some plays you get beat, and then sometimes you're making a great PBU or a pick. How do you handle those highs and lows of your position?
Really, I just like I had to control it more, but I feel like I got better at it. Just like when you bust the play, just get up and go 10% more than what you did last play. I'd rather mess up going 110% than not trying at all. So
It's a great mindset. You absolutely get it as a young football player. That is actually how you're supposed to play the game. Last question here. So, what are your plans? I have an idea, but just tell us in the audience. What are your future plans after high school?
my future plans is to get academic and athletic scholarship to D1 college and play D1 football.
Okay. And when football's over, whenever that is, 10-year NFL career after college, what do you want to do when you're done with the game or the game is done with you?
I feel like I want to help out with little league youth or I want to be a coach basically. I just want to
Okay.
help out.
Okay. Giving back through the game itself that helped you. I like that. Makes sense. As we finish up here, there's a lot of people that play a role in the success of a football player. It could be a teacher, a counselor, it could be your position coach, your head coach, coordinator, could be your principal, mom and dad, brothers, sisters. Take this time to thank the people who got you to where you are today.
My brother, he does a lot for me.
Older or younger?
He's older than me.
Did he play the game or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who else?
Yeah,
Maybe at school, who else has helped you along the way, either academically or athletically?
I would say my last year English 1 teacher, Mr. Hodges, he uplifted me like when we was in the classroom, like, come on man, you gotta do your work. I want to see you out there Friday night. Like you need to he was getting on to me about he was like just making sure I was right, making sure I was doing right.
Well, lastly, here, I want to thank once again Buffalo Wild Wings and DeAndre. If you don't know, they're not just sponsoring this podcast, but they are taking all the money. If anybody from New Caney goes into their local Buffalo Wild Wings and mentions the school in their order, 10% of their bill throughout the season goes back to the football program for you when you come back as a junior. Take this time in your own words to kind of thank Buffalo Wild Wings for helping you be successful, you and your teammates be successful for next year.
Thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings, for giving my school, New Caney High School, the opportunity. And yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, man, have a great weekend. I know you're having a good season. I look forward to seeing more Huddle video. And looks like I'll be seeing you at the National Combine. I evaluate your film, and that was an easy invite. I know you'll come down there and really open some eyes and really get things going for recruiting as you go into your junior year.
Sure, thank you.
All right, man. Tell your parents I said thank you, and you have a great night and a great weekend, okay?
You too.
All right, thanks.